There he goes. Don't understand that, but there he goes. What's up, agents? Zer here, welcome back to another lab video, and today we're actually going to be taking a little bit of a field trip, simply because, well, we're going to be looking at the 1.10 experimental gameplay features. This is a video that is quite overdue, because 1.10 has been out for quite a while, but on the other hand, it did give me plenty of time to get absolutely everything researched before recording. So let's go ahead and get started. So first off, we're starting off in one of the brand new generated villages, which, speaking of, this is a randomly generated world that I just happened to stumble across. So there's that, and this is actually relatively close to spawn too. I'll make sure to have the seed down in the description if you guys want to go ahead and check it out. But yeah, so this is what the new villages will end up looking like in experimental gameplay, which is kind of nice. This is obviously how they're eventually going to end up looking like eventually in the main game, because obviously village and pillage. And as you can tell, we have ourselves brand new villager skins and models, which is kind of nice. Which, speaking of, depending on which biome you're in, you're going to see a different type of village, which that's nothing new. But because of the way they are now generated, it's obviously going to be much different. And on top of that, the villagers will have different skins depending on their profession, which is obvious, but also based on their biome, which is actually kind of nice, all things considered. So there's that. So let's go ahead and get things going with crafting recipes. So I've got absolutely everything that I'm going to need inside of this chest, and these are the crafting materials that we're going to need. They're not assembled in the actual recipe themselves, simply because, well, I figured it'd be easier to go ahead and craft them by hand. Normally when I'm actually inside of the lab, I do like to set up walls and show the crafting recipes that way, but I figured this would be a little bit easier and take up a lot less space. So before I go ahead and craft any of these, I want you guys to keep in mind that absolutely none of these have any current use at the moment, no function whatsoever. That should be coming in a future update. Whether it's going to be experimental or directly in the game is not 100% confirmed as of right now, but we have the blocks to use regardless, or at least we would use them, but I mean craft them is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so we've got ourselves a cartography table, which is crafting table on paper, so let's go ahead and make that. We have ourselves a fletching table, which is crafting table and an arrow. We have ourselves the smithing table. This is a crafting table and a piece of cobblestone. Next up, we have ourselves a campfire, which is 3 logs, which, by the way, can be used with any type of log and can also be used with stripped and bark, I do believe, and also uses sticks and a piece of coal, which you can also use a piece of charcoal as well, which is cool, things considered. We have ourselves a blast furnace, which this uses a regular furnace, 5 iron ingots, and 3 smooth stone, so there's that. Next up, we have ourselves a smoker, so it's a furnace with 4 logs. We also have ourselves a grindstone, which that's 2 sticks, 2 planks, and 1 stone slab. We also have ourselves a composter. We have ourselves a barrel and the stone cutter. And yes, I do realize I did not actually show you guys the legit crafting recipes very well, and I do apologize for doing it that way, but hey, I've got the blocks at least. So let's go ahead and start placing these down. And as I said, they have absolutely no functionality as of the moment, so do remember that. But let's go ahead and take a look at all these. So we have ourselves, this is the, I think this is the smithing table if I remember correctly. Yeah, it is a smithing table. I can't remember. If these actually had GUIs and I could function, I probably would remember that a lot better. Alright, so next up we have ourselves the cartography table. And this does actually have function inside of the Java snapshots at the moment. This smithing table is the only one that does not, but that's beside the point. Next up, we have ourselves the fletching table, and this is what it looks like. Pretty cool, things considered. The grindstone is this block right here, and this can be placed in pretty much any direction, and it's kind of nice, all things considered. The only problem is it's like scaffolding in that if you break the base block it'll drop all the rest of them. We have ourselves the barrel, which this barrel is actually does determine what direction it's facing based on what direction you place it. So do keep that in mind. Can't place that there. So if I go ahead and do this, as you can tell, is now facing upwards. It's got a pretty nice texture, all things considered. I do like this. We have ourselves the composter, which is similar to that of the actual cauldron, which is already in the game, in that you can actually go ahead and stand inside. Yeah, you can stand inside it. We have ourselves the stone curve, which this is actually a pretty interesting block, I'm not gonna lie. It only faces in two directions. It has this nice little saw blade on top, which I don't actually know if it will hurt you in survival mode or not. But obviously, because it's experimental gameplay, it doesn't have any function. We have ourselves a blast furnace. This is what it looks like. We have ourselves a smoker. And this is what it looks like. What else do I have in my inventory? Oh, yeah. I have a campfire as well. Apparently, I have a piece of wheat. Don't know where I got that from. That's beside the point. All right, let's place down the campfire. And this is what the campfire looks like. It actually has a completely different model inside of Java Edition. Java actually has a 3D model, which is not too bad, all things considered. But, hey, it's a pretty cool block nonetheless. And I'm going to say this one final time. I realize I've said it several times already. No functionality to any of these blocks whatsoever at the moment, but they do obviously have crafting recipes. So let's go ahead and take a look at villagers, because we did technically look at them a little bit ago, but they actually do have some interesting features now. So if we go ahead and go in here, so obviously they have the same GUI for actual trading, and I actually went ahead and upgraded this guy all the way to max to make sure he has all his trades open. I did that before I started recording, so that's why he has everything open. But yeah, so as you can obviously tell, he's got a completely different skin than he did normally. He has a little bit of an overlay on his head, which is kind of nice. Some of these villagers do have overlays, like for example this guy over here, he has a straw hat with a brim, which is kind of cool. And let's go ahead and go inside of here. So if we go ahead and take out some coal and some emeralds. So if we pull out the emeralds, as you can tell, he actually shows what he is willing to trade for said item. So if we were to go ahead and click on him, as you can tell, he has a trade for coal. And obviously he's going to have trades for emeralds as well. If we were to hold up the coal as well, he will actually trade emeralds for coal. So you can obviously tell what he's going to end up trading with you, and this works with every single villager as well. If I can find another villager, he's probably going to be the only one that'll trade for coal, but I imagine anyone else will trade for emeralds. So can you go ahead and show me what you have? Okay, you have bread. Okay, good to know. Alright, so yeah, the villagers obviously have that sort of GUI or interface or whatever you want to call it, and eventually they are going to add in a different GUI for the actual trading interface at some point. Obviously it's not in the game just yet, but that's actually kind of interesting. So let's go ahead and go into this and command block, and we're going to go ahead and teleport to the Spruce Village. And the reason why we're going to a Spruce Village is because, well, this has a few other blocks and features in here that are not obviously at that other village. So first off, we have ourselves a brand new generating plant. This is actually a sweet berry bush, and I'm just noticing I'm having a bit of lag issue. Not sure what's causing that, but yeah. So this is what the sweet berry bush looks like. And let me go ahead and go into survival. So these are the sweet berry bushes when they are freshly planted. And this is the sweet berry bush when they are fully grown. And they do technically have two fully grown stages, but they also have a stage where they have no berries on it. So I can go ahead and harvest these. And as you can tell, I have sweet berries now, and you can eat these. I do believe they only give one hunger bar each. But also, if you walk through them, they have thorns on them, and they will hurt you as long as you are moving through them. And they also have properties similar to that of cobwebs, in that they will actually slow you down. So do keep that in mind. And they will spawn naturally in taiga biome, so keep that in mind. It's part of the reason why we're actually in a taiga biome right now. But there's actually another reason why we are in a taiga biome, because first off, as you can tell, we actually have ourselves another person right here. We've got ourselves a weapons smith, and as you can tell, he has a different scene. We didn't actually see a weaponsmith in the other village, but you guys can probably tell that he has a slightly different set of clothes. We actually have a farmer right here, which we can obviously tell he looks different, which is cool, all things considered. And next up, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this block right here. This is actually called the bell. These will naturally generate inside of villages in specific spots, and these are not craftable, and that is actually an intentional decision. They are supposed to be either found naturally generated in the world, or supposedly certain villagers will be able to trade for them, which is kind of cool things considered. They can be placed either on the ground, they can be placed on the side of a block, which if I can go ahead and do this, there we go. And they can also be placed on the top of the block. They are supposed to generate on the top of the block. Naturally, apparently they are not, but that's not the point. Next up, we have ourselves this guy right here. This is actually a wandering trader, and these guys will appear randomly in your world, and they will offer various trades. I did have to spawn him in manually, but as you can tell, he offers some random stuff, and he's going to have different stuff every time you see him, and he has these llamas that are going to be with him, which you cannot get these any other way. And he will despawn after a few days on his own, and you may eventually find him in another part of your world with completely different trades, so do keep that in mind. You cannot actually keep the llamas. They will actually go with him. And something I do want to go ahead and mention is that this wandering trader actually has some weird properties in Realms at the moment. So if you have experimental gameplay in Realms, then he's going to have some weird behaviors, which actually, let me go ahead and get on Reverlight. Now go ahead and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, and then we'll come back to this world and finish things off. Okay, so we are currently at Septic Spud's base because, well, I don't actually have one of these guys in my base because apparently I have it unable to have them spawn here, and he's got quite a few of these guys in a few different places, which is kind of interesting. He's got one right here, and he's got one over the distance in this direction. You guys might have already seen him, which we're actually going to be using this guy. And, well, first off, I do want to mention they have absolutely no AI whatsoever, which makes no sense. I don't understand why that is. So if I can go ahead and push this guy, as you can obviously tell, I can push him. That's not really a huge deal, and I was not expecting him to be there, but that's beside the point. So if I can go ahead and get this guy pushed over here, because he's got some interesting things going for him that I don't really understand at the moment. So here's what he does. If I go ahead and do this, as you can tell, he is floating above the ground, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But he can also be pushed through blocks as well. But on top of that, if I go ahead and hit this guy, there he goes. Don't understand that, but there he goes. Alright, so that's the Wandering Trader as far as Realms is concerned, but that's definitely bizarre. So let's go ahead and go back onto my other world, and we're going to go ahead and finish things off. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go to this command block, and we're going to press this button, and we're going to be teleported to one final place on this world. And if you guys pay attention to coordinates in the chat as this video is going, you'll know where these places are. But yeah, first off, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this pillager outpost, because this is the main feature of this area. And it is supposed to have some custom banners around the place. I don't know if there was some issue or if it's not fully implemented, but these banners, which are actually what they're supposed to be, they are not craftable by any means, so do keep that in mind, even though we do technically have the loom. But yeah, let's go ahead and go inside one of these. And there are a few layers to these, but they're not really too terribly exciting. And this is where pillagers will actually end up naturally generating. And as you can tell, we're at the top, and there's a chest right here. Yeah, this is what you can actually get from it. There are obviously other things that you can get. You can get crossbows without enchantments but full durability, and you have a chance to get some enchanted books as well. No treasure enchant, so you can't get like mending or something like that. But yeah, this is pretty much what you are able to end up getting. There's also these little scarecrows right here. I do know for a fact that some of these will have cages built with iron golems in them. That actually happened on Reverlight not too long ago. However, I did not get that in the video, unfortunately, but that does happen. And we also have two other things I want to go ahead and show you guys. First off, the pillagers will actually actively try to kill villagers, which is obviously what their job is supposed to be. And well, obviously, the villagers cannot fight back. And as you can tell, pillagers have crossbows on them, so that's what they use to attack, which is not too bad, all things considered. And we also have one last mob. This is the Ravager, or at least it would be called the Ravager if we were in 1.11 beta. However, as of right now, in the 1.10 experimental gameplay, is technically called the Illager Beast. And supposedly when you kill one of these guys, you are guaranteed to get a saddle. I have not tested this as of yet. And they are incredibly powerful. If you were to go ahead and go into survival mode, they will kill you really quickly if you are not properly geared. So do keep that in mind. I don't think these actually naturally spawn in the world at the moment. I could be wrong on that. I did read online and I didn't see anything about them naturally spawning. But yeah, and they are obviously going to be part of the pillager raids, which are not implemented in the game as of yet, unfortunately, but is obviously going to be coming at a later time. But yeah, other than that, this is actually all there is to the experimental gameplay as of right now. So this is actually where I'm going to go ahead and end things off. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. One more, make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at AgentCPU0 to stay updated. This has been Zer0's. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I'll see you guys later.